Hello there guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video. Now I do apologize for not making videos since the past like 2 weeks. I've been very busy. I wanted to make videos, just talking about Chelsea and the other clubs as well, but I've been so busy for the past few weeks, so that's why I couldn't be able to do sort of like a daily videos. But since the Premier League is back this weekend, I decided that today I'll be making two videos. This video, of course, is going to review my Premier predictions on Matchday 7. I wish I did, which I should have done last Monday, but instead I'll be doing it today. And the other video is going to be the Premier League predictions on Matchday 8. Since it starts this weekend and we're on match day 8, so that's why I'm going to do both videos today, one this one and then one in the next few hours. So yeah, so this video is going to be a basic and quick predictions review on match day 7 to see how many points I've got at the end of my prediction. Now of course the aim is to beat my biggest point, which is 11. I still haven't achieved that, but hopefully over the next match days or so I'll be able to achieve that, because that's my target, to beat my previous and most points, which is 11. And if I don't do it, well, I could be proud of myself. But anyway, it's still a long way to go, so let's concentrate on the Premier predictions on match day 7. And before I start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. Don't forget to hit this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, bell notification so they never miss any of my content, and share this to everybody that you know so that they can come along and watch and react to my Premier predictions on match day 7 and see how, and if you know how many points I've got, let me know in the comments down below when I finish doing the Premier predictions on match day. So yeah, let me guys know how many points, and I'll check if you're right. So yeah, share this to everybody so that they can enjoy and come along to watch my daily shows and videos talking about Chelsea and the other clubs as well. So yeah, so without further ado, let's start. So the first game, of course, was Manchester United against Everton. Now I predicted a 4-0 win for Manchester United because, of course, because of that pre-season before the Premier League starts, because Manchester United dominated Everton in that game and scored 4-0. Even though Everton had the best starting lineup, they absolutely destroyed them. But Manchester United, oh my days, they're just looking like a team that I don't think who's going to be title contenders if they keep on doing like this, because they because the actual result was 1-1, so of course I got 0 points. I mean, Everton was so unlucky not to win. If if the Everton player, that number 20, would have scored, then that means they would have won this game. But instead he passed it to the number 7 of Everton, who was definitely offside. If he would have scored, Everton could have won this game, but instead he passed it to him. So I think he needs to realize that if you're onside, make sure you shoot. Don't pass it into a player who's offside. So that's why I think Everton might be kicking themselves, because I think they deserve to win this game, even though I did say that Man United will destroy them, but only this season isn't doing well. I mean, they keep on dropping points after points after points. And if they keep on doing this, then all that talk about Southwood and Ronaldo being title contenders could be over if Man United keep on dropping points. So yeah, I definitely saw that game, and Ronaldo was absolutely furious that he wasn't in the starting lineup, and also that he was frustrated at half time. I mean, full time, when it ended 1-1, when it should have been a Manchester United win. So yeah, I feel bad for Ronaldo, because if I was a Manchester United fan and I saw Ronaldo not starting, I'll be so angry, and that has to be credit on him, because this is a must-win game. Everton is a tough game. You want to win, you bring on your best player, but instead he didn't start him. So yeah, I mean, but since I'm a Chelsea fan, I definitely watched that game, and Oli might be disappointed, but it's his fault for not starting their best players. Even Paul Pogba as well. He did not start him as well. So yeah, because of that, I think Everton was so unlucky not to win. So unlucky, but they leave here with a point, and Manchester United could be in serious trouble. Serious trouble. So, yeah. So, I've got 0 points because I went for Manchester United win. Now let's move on into the team that I support, Chelsea against Southampton. Now in my prediction, I predicted a 3-0 Chelsea win, but the actual result was 3-1 Southampton. Now, if you didn't watch my match review for that game, you can go ahead and click it right over here on the left, on the top right side, and you can see the full review. And yeah, like I said, Timo Werner was superb. I thought he was my man of the match because he was superb. So unlucky not to get both goals. Now, of course, some people tell me that that goal should have stood. I'm really not sure because I saw the replay. I'm not sure if there's any footage challenge, but yeah, Timo Werner was so unlucky. And the same goes for Lukaku because he hit the post. His goal was disallowed. So yeah, and I heard people say that Lukaku should get out of the club. Listen. The reason why Lukaku isn't scoring enough goals is because he always wants, but there's no player. We haven't got a creative player who will feed the ball to him. He's not getting enough service, and that's the problem. Once we don't feed the ball to Lukaku, there's no point of him scoring. So I think we need a creative player who will feed the ball to Lukaku so that he can score goals. Whether it's once or twice, I don't care. Feed the ball to Lukaku, and then you'll see if he's have a chance to score or not, or whether the goalkeeper saved it. So that's the only problem. But he will get there eventually. He will score goals. I believe he will. So yeah. But the only problem is he's not getting enough service, and that's the only problem I have. That's your with Lukaku. He's not getting enough service. So yeah, of course, I went for three. Of course, it was actually 3-1, so I got another 0 points. Of course, if Ben Chilwell didn't concede that penalty, then my prediction could have been right. But Ben Chilwell redeemed himself by scoring a goal. The goalkeeper saved it, but it crossed the line because the goal like technology. So yeah, so 0 points so far today, which I'm a bit scared. But yeah, Chelsea got the win, and Chelsea were on top of the table in the first place during the international break because the Liverpool and City game, which I'll be talking about in a few minutes. The next game, of course, was Newcastle against Wolves. Now, I went for a draw on this one because both teams are really struggling, but it's most likely that Wolves are getting more wins than Newcastle. So I would have thought that this game could have ended in a draw. But Newcastle, Newcastle, and in fact, possibly either tomorrow or Saturday, I'll be talking about the Newcastle takeover because, like I said, I've been so busy that I couldn't manage to make new videos. But maybe perhaps either tomorrow or Saturday, I'll be talking about the Newcastle takeover because yes, I mean, you know, I'm not going to talk about too much because this video is only the going over my predictions on Matchday 7, but on Saturday I'll be taking my time to talk about the Newcastle takeover. But before then, Newcastle are still looking for the wins, and it still didn't happen for them. I mean, Steve Bruce, yeah, has is in a bad situation. And if you look at the Premier League table before the international break, they're in 18th now. They're joining Burnley and Newcastle in the relegation battle. I just feel bad for Newcastle because they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this. But I'll be talking about them possibly tomorrow and Saturday because there was a takeover. But yeah, Wolves got the win. Um, the first time they did it at Molineux because when it comes to that game, they face Tottenham. They've lost at Molineux. Manchester United. They've lost to them. Who else? Brentford 2-0. So yeah, but Wolves got their first win at Molineux. So yeah, they're really improving Wolves. Whereas to Newcastle, they just struggling to get the 3 points and the win. But there could be a chance that they could manage to turn it around, depending if Steve Bruce does get sacked by the new owner, which I cannot pronounce his name, but yeah, Qatar man. So yeah, it all depends on that. So yeah. So the next game, of course, was Burnley against Norwich City. Now when now both teams are looking for their first win, and I thought that Burnley will get their win because Norwich City, I just cannot see them winning. I can see them getting points, but not winning at all the way they're playing. But Norwich City, yeah, they did really well, especially defensively. They had so many chances to beat Burnley, so many chances, but they couldn't manage to do that. I watched the highlights, and Norwich City looked like the better team. So yeah, I feel bad for them, but they just cannot manage to go to games, defend really well, and to at least score a goal and try to hold that to get the 3 points. So whenever Norwich City does one in the Championship, in the Premier League, they just always seem to be the bottom table, bottom half, what bottom in 20th place. And the Norwich City fans don't like it. They want to see their team going back to the Premier League, just like as the Villa did during that season. But I don't think it will happen. I think they'll be the first team ever to get relegated this season. The others, I don't know. But in my heart of hearts, they will be the first team that will get relegated. So yeah. Whereas for Burnley, the same situation. They're in 19th. They're still looking for their wins, and especially both home and away. And they still can't manage to do that. So yeah. So it is what it is, for both teams. So yeah, they really have to improve. If they want to be in the Premier League next season, especially Burnley, because if they're relegated, that will be the first time under Sean Dyche, first time after he has been a manager for Burnley for like more than 9 years now, So yeah. The next game is Leeds against Watford. Now I went for a Watford win because I'm thinking that Leeds United, since he's at home, they always seem to bowl it. After going, they will score first, but then Watford will get back to it. But I have to congratulate Leeds United because they've got their first win of the season, and it's that's and Rafinha scored the only goal to get them the 3 points. So yeah, well done to Leeds United. They had the topsy-turvy start, but at least they managed to get 3 points and a win. So yeah, well done to Leeds United. Watford, I think they'll still be in the Premier League. That is what I think. Even though they've lost, they'll still manage to pick up wins after wins of and get a couple of points as well. But I think Watford will still stay in the Premier League because of the players they've got and the new and possibly Watford. I mean, I'm sorry, but when they always seem to lose games, they always seem to sack managers. I mean, this is the eighth or sixth time that they sack managers, in both in the Championship and in the Premier League. I mean, come on, man. If you know that Watford are going to get relegated, then you can sack a manager. But don't sack a manager after you just lost against Leeds United. Man, their owner is it's just seemed crazy, man. Always seemed crazy. And if this same situation happens again, they will keep on sacking him, sacking him, sacking him. You know, I just cannot believe it. You've lost against Leeds United, but it's only on match day 7. You've got to until match day 8 to see if Watford are going to get relegated or be back in the Premier League. You know, it's just unbelievable. I just found that crazy for their previous manager to get sacked, especially during the early of the season. So strange, but it is what it is for Watford. If they can improve under the new manager, then I'll be happy for them. But they sacked the old manager, so I don't know what to say. But we move on into Brighton against Arsenal. Now, for this game, it's going to be tough for Arsenal because Brighton this season are looking good. They've still only lost one game, and that was against Everton at the Amex. So, but I went for a 1-0 Arsenal because I think they'll be back to winning goals. But Brighton, excuse me, they had a couple of chances to beat Arsenal, especially Mopay, all these types, when it comes to corners, they had chance after chance after chance. And I say they are and also are so lucky to get a point because had it not been for those Brighton chances, they would have lost this game like 1 or 2-0. So they were so unlucky, you know. But yeah, but Arsenal, the performance against Tottenham wasn't kind of the same performance as the Arsenal fans expect, because I knew this would be a tough game for them, because that's why I went for 1-0. But Arsenal, they just back to normal after getting a couple of wins. They just came back to performing, but just not getting the 3 points against the teams that they should have beat. Brighton. You know, so yeah. So far, I've got 0 points because I went for the one prediction, but I got a point, and I'll tell you why in just a few minutes. But yeah, Brighton nil, Arsenal nil was the final score. Like I said, Brighton was so unlucky, but I think they'll be happy with a point. They'll be disappointed not to get the 3 points, because Brighton have a good record against Arsenal at the Amex. Of course, last season, Arsenal beat them by 1-0, but, you know, Brighton see how, but that is basically it. Arsenal just don't seem to do well at the Amex, except for last season when they beat them 1-0, like I just mentioned. But yeah, we move on. The next game, of course, was Villa against Tottenham. Now I went for a 1-0 Villa because the way that Tottenham lost to Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and Arsenal, I've been thinking that since Aston Villa are a really good side, I think they will lose this game. Definitely. They will definitely lose. But Tottenham bounced back. They were both Arsenal on points. So yeah, 2-1 to Tottenham. I think when I watched that game, I think Harry Kane looked disinterested. He said he wants to leave. He wants to join Man City, but that didn't happen. So yeah, I think Harry Kane needs to move to another club that will like maybe Chelsea or Man City or those type of teams here that can get him to win trophies. It's not going to happen against Tottenham, so he has to leave as soon as possible because he will score goals, but I don't think that the Tottenham will win trophies whatsoever. They won't whatsoever. So Harry Kane looks disinterested, and I think it's time for him to go and leave Tottenham Hotspur because that club has got no chance of getting trophies this season. No chance on the Nuno. No chance. So Harry Kane needs to leave. Well, I've got to be quick because I've only got a few minutes to go. The next game, of course, is Brentford against West Ham. Now, I went for a 2-2 draw because both teams are looking good. Brentford got the 3 points against Wolves. West Ham doing really well in the Europa League, so that's why I went for 2-2. But Brentford, they're starting to really look good in the Premier League. They're looking serious and a tough team to face. You know, excuse me. Yeah, the tough team to face because Chelsea have got Brentford um this Saturday because it's the West London derby. So yeah, Brentford are looking serious and a tough team to face. Whereas for West Ham, they tried their best, but the better team won, especially that player, that number 18, sorry, excuse me, scored in the last minute for Brentford. So yeah, they're looking very, very serious. Very serious. So when Chelsea face them, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but cannot wait. So that's why tomorrow I'm going to do a match preview to that game as well, the Chelsea versus Brentford game. So yeah, looking forward to it, but it will be tough. It will be tough. All right, quickly. Crystal Palace against Leicester. Now I went for 2-1 to Crystal Palace because Leicester this season under Brendan Rodgers are looking absolutely awful. I think they've only won against both Norwich and who was Wolves. But the other times they've lost and they drew. So yeah, Patrick Vieira did well for is starting to really doing well for Crystal Palace. So I would for the thought that they would have beaten them 2-1, but it actually ended 2-2 because Leicester were 2-0 down, but Crystal Palace managed to pull off a comeback to make Leicester go from bad to worse because I thought they would be the team that could at least challenge for the Champions League, but so far it's not looking good for them. I think they're way off, way off. But they still managed to win trophies under Brendan Rodgers. But They just they just not the team, yeah, that I would have thought that they would be this season, because at the start of the season they'll start to win games, being in the top four, and then their job is to stay in that position. But so far it's not looking good for Leicester. If they keep on doing like this, then they could finish out of Europe for the very first time under Brendan Rodgers. I can see that happening. So yeah, so it's not good for sort for Leicester, but it's early. Hopefully they would improve and at least be in Europe. But if they keep on doing like this, then there's no way I can see Leicester be be in the top four anymore. And last and not least, the big game of the weekend, Liverpool against City. Now, this I got 1 point because I predicted a 1-1, and I knew this would be a draw because both teams, are looking good. Liverpool and City, I think they are the team who is the best team, so far. I think they're above Chelsea and Manchester United, and I think that's true because if we would have because Chelsea, when we faced City, that the City were the better team, and we couldn't manage to make a comeback. The game against Liverpool, it was 1-1. We had to defend really well. But that game, Liverpool and City, the first half was boring, and the only problem with City is that the reason why they didn't win is because they didn't have a striker. They had more possession and more chances. I don't think Pep Guardiola needs to realise if they would have signed a striker, they would have won this game like 2-0 or 3-0 in the first half. But they allow Liverpool here to just sit back, defend really well, and just not creating so many chances. But the second half was phenomenal. I think that was the best game I've ever seen so far in the Premier League. The best game. Foden was fantastic for City. Kevin De Bruyne's goal was brilliant. I mean, Foden, whenever he comes to Anfield, he just always seems to do well. But Mo Salah, oh my days! If you see that solo goal when it was 1-1, that was phenomenal, majestic, sort of like Aiden Hazard, when it came to the Carabao Cup. But Aiden Hazard's solo goal is still the best goal in the Premier League. But Mo Salah is getting there. I think here that between him and Karim Benzema, I think Benzema is first, but Mo Salah is second when it comes to the greatest of all time so far this season. Because Benzema um, he's doing well for both France and Real Madrid, whereas for Mo Salah, he's there. He's one of the GOATs, just the second so far today. And Karim Benzema is first, but Mo Salah is second when it comes to the greatest of all time. So yeah, I definitely watched that game. That was the game of the weekend and of the best game I've ever seen. In the second half, the first half was boring, but in the second half, it was fantastic to watch. Fantastic to watch. So yeah. So unfortunately, I've got 1 point because the rest of the games I got 0 points because I would have thought that was the team that will win this game, but it didn't happen. But hopefully on match day 8, when I do my predictions, hopefully I'll be able to pick up more than 11 points because that's my target. So yeah, this is my lowest point so far, and I was so lucky not to get 0 points because if I would have gone for perhaps for City or Liverpool win, I would have lost. I would have dropped points and I would have got zero out of the all of the games. So I'll be happy that I got a point, but that was the lowest point scoring I've so far since I've done this series on my YouTube channel. So yeah. Really disappointed, but hopefully on match day 8, I'll improve and do better. So that's it, guys. That is the end of my predictions review on match day 7. And if you don't want to miss on match day 8, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notifications if you are new. So yeah, this video is basically a Premier League predictions on match day 7, and also later today I'll upload Premier League predictions on match day 8, as I'll be going through the big games, of course the Chelsea versus Brentford game and all of the fixtures as well. So make sure you stay in tune for that one. So thank you guys so much for watching. Look after yourselves, take care, and peace.